into impulse control. What is it? I can guess. Why do we do it? And how do we do it?
Okay. So destructive emotional reactions
Hmm.
destroy your life one conversation at a time.
Hmm.
So when I get angry and swear or shout, or when I get sad and flat and negative, or when I get really anxious or panicky, it's not a good experience for anyone.
Mm.
It's terrible for you. It's terrible for those around you. Emotions are important. There is meaning in the feeling of fear. It's telling you there's danger around. Maybe you need to get out of danger. And for all creatures, this is true. Fear gets them to run away,
Mhm.
the flight reaction. Anger gets us to attack and defend ourselves, much more dangerous, but sometimes it's the only thing you can do.
Mhm.
And then collapse or a freeze reaction or a sadness reaction is just pretending to be dead, hoping that the
Mm.
predator ignores you. And in war or in a really hostile situation, sometimes that's a better action. Now, that's the worst of emotions. As humans, we can now watch those emotions and make changes. So, for example, I can get frustrated with you. But at the same moment, I think, you know what, we're trying to actually do something important together. There must be some reason for Lauren to have said it the way she did.
Mhm.
Let me be curious.
Mhm.
Let me be respectful.
Mhm.
Let me have a more firm conversation, acknowledging and owning my anger, but still working, constructively with someone. That's power.
Mm.
That really is. And so instead of destroying an interaction, you've kept that interaction alive and creative. Does that make sense?
I think it does make sense. I'm seeing it as a little bit of a spectrum between letting the emotion overcome you and acting on it, say fear or anger. And I think there's actually another side of the spectrum where you completely suppress it and you actually, you don't want to feel fearful, you don't want to feel anger. So you pretend like everything is fine, but your body is, as you so well put it, trying to get you to move somewhere. So I think what you're saying is to accept it and then to be curious about it, to own it, to recognize you're feeling a negative emotion, although I am hesitant to use the word negative with emotion, but feeling fear or anger and not necessarily acting on it, but knowing it's there.
Yeah. Emotions are what make life fun,
Mm.
right? So you're dead right. Don't suppress them.
It's like you do it so well. I'm not angry. And it's like, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it's a lie,
Yeah.
right? And the reason is we're social beings. So we need to send out coherent messages. So
Mhm.
the I'm not angry is not a coherent message
Mhm.
because what you see is someone
Mhm.
attacking. What you hear is I'm not angry, and the mind says, well, what am I going to believe, the
Mm.
words or the body and the tone of voice? It always believes the body and the tone of voice for
Mhm.
survival reasons. We have long used a very, very simple term, which I think captures this. What is it? Name it, tame it, reframe it.
Mhm.
Don't deny it. Don't reject it. Don't
Mm.
pretend it's not there. It's naming it.
Mm.
I'm feeling angry.
Mm.
Right now, if I say, look, you will respect, that's coherent. Yeah, he looked
Very cool.
angry and he's admitted he's angry, he's owning it. Okay, I feel much safer straight away.
Or it's like if people are clearly really sad and it's like, dude, I can see that. Just tell me.
Exactly.
But I think sometimes people
Exactly.
feel so much shame and
Yeah.
pressure to be good and happy that they're struggling to actually even say that this is how I'm feeling.
And I think in the clinical cases of anxiety disorders, hostile behaviors, and depression, it's extremely difficult to name it.
Mm.
And part of the cure is being able to accept it and talk about it, see someone,
Mhm.
share it, because you're stepping back into the world.
Mhm.
And, interestingly, simple functional MRI testing over a decade ago now showed that when you name an emotion, that reptilian brain quietens, the old amygdala,
Mm.
and the prefrontal cortex lights up. So while name, tame, reframe sounds kind of childish, actually it's quite profound.
It's good. It's so memorable. So let's go to that MRI scan. That was with all negative emotions.
Yes.
I feel sadness, I feel anger, I feel fear. The awareness,
Yep.
saying it out loud,
Yes.
decreased lizard brain
Yes.
activity and increased prefrontal cortex.
Correct.
So essentially, you're operating.
Yeah. Well, you're operating consciously.
Aha.
So the lizard brain doesn't work, it reacts.
Mm.
Whereas the moment I'm able to note my
Mhm.
anger, it's already tamed. The fact that the reptile's checked out and you're in the front of your brain, that anger is less powerful.
Mm.
The negative emotion is less powerful.
Awareness is,
As you
yeah.
name it, it tames.
Mhm.
And then if you can add something like tactical calm, you can really wind down the reactive elements of panic or anger
Mhm.
profoundly.
Mhm.
So you've named it, you've tamed it. And this is really where the power comes in because you can reframe,
Mhm.
right? It is entirely possible to take the emotion, let's work with anger, tame it, and then find a way to say, that's interesting. What am I missing?
Mm.
Right. So if you can put yourself in someone else's shoes or ask yourself the question, I wonder what Lauren's feeling now. You open your empathy portal and you become curious and you care a little bit or you respect the person. That's a big reframe. So, if you anger attack,
Mhm.
that respect, that sense of curiosity and care leads you to approach someone in a more skillful way. And that's your reframe.
Yeah. And even I think even before looking at the other person, sometimes I think, okay, why am I feeling fear or why am I feeling anger? Because I care about
Mm-hmm.
this. You don't feel those negative emotions if you don't really care about something. So I think there's
Mm-hmm.
also ways to reframe it where it's like,
Yep.
oh, this matters to me. And so I'm not going to react out of this lizard brain. I'm going to think, okay, how would this person feel? Can I just ask them? Can we have a
Yeah.
conversation? Yeah.
As I forget who it was, maybe as a Dalai Lama with Daniel Goleman, made the point in a conversation if you can get negative emotions on the table
Mm,
in a conversation, their power is much reduced.
true.
That's very wise advice.
Very wise. It's just not that easy.
Of course, it's not. It shouldn't
You
be, right?
really need
We've
trust.
come up a few levels now.
Yeah, okay.
We're actually working with the evolving,
Mm,
magnificent human brain. And either we can choose to behave like a reptile,
mm.
or we can choose to say, thank you for this amazingly flexible mind,
Thanks.
emotional system I've got. Let me work with it.
Mm. And you can even, I think, name the process because it can be a bit embarrassing putting negative emotions on the table, depending on the scenario you're in, whether it's friends, relationships, work. You could actually say negative emotions have less power over us if we're able to talk about it. If we put this into the open, we will have more cohesion as a team, as a family.
Absolutely. As a
How
people,
about, yes, how about we, without judgment, name feelings without pointing blame, put it on the table
absolutely.
so that we can,
Yep.
yeah, move forward.
And there's a lot of depth in that.
Mm,
If I take sadness and depression, so quite often in a clinical environment, you have depression as if it's something wrong with the chemicals in your brain. And I'm going to prescribe you this medication to fix the chemicals in your brain. I've actually denied my sadness.
mm,
All right. Possibly part of the therapeutic process could be, really coming to terms with the fact that, wow, I am really feeling sad,
mhm,
naming it,
yeah,
and then working well. In depression, you want to withdraw. So the reframe is you've got to come back to the world. So you
mm,
need to find a friend, you need to team up with a coach and do something. Get back into the world is part of your reframe.
mm,
Now, there are many ways to treat depression, right? But just chemicals in the brain, it's a good drug sales technique,
it
but
is.
it's not good medicine.
And there are reasons we feel emotions. I mean, we can talk on and on about all the reasons for the rise in depression and anxiety among people today, but sometimes it seems like it's a natural reaction to the way we live now, which is not
For
aligned with
sure.
our biological,
For
physiological
sure.
levels. So,
And, go back to the beginning, the 2026 and the
Mm.
drama that's going on around us. Well, of course,
Of course we're panicking.
it's an existential crisis.
Yeah, yeah.
So if we didn't feel a little bit of uncomfortable emotion, we'd be very abnormal,
Mm,
all right, zombie-like.
mm,
The fact that we do is something we could use to positively change. And that's why this is so important. So in impulse control, it's not reactive Sven, it's responsive Sven.
mhm.
Owns it, calms it, tries another path. Okay, that's liberating. And if you think about the why would you do this, you take back control of your life,
Mm.
because when you're reacting out of those destructive reactions, which are real, let's not
Yeah,
deny them,
yeah.
but it you're not in control of
Oh,
your
you can
life.
destroy relationships, and people
Exactly.
don't forget. It's
Exactly.
like one outburst and
And you don't need to look far around us in a business, in a home, on the battlefield.
mm,
People are behaving in terrible ways.
mm.
They've lost control of their lives. Perhaps to add to that somehow, one of the ones I think is terribly useful, and you've actually been good at this, journal.
Oh, almost like too much.
Yeah. If you can take some time just to go through the day at the end of the day and
Mhm,
quiet moments and say, what were the interesting moments of
mhm,
today? What happened? How did I feel?
mm,
How did I respond? That's self-awareness training. You're going to get much better at naming if you do
mm,
that.
mm,
When you can create strong social bonds of trust so that you don't mind saying, "No, I'm really irritable today," you've made real headway,
yeah.
right? So know who you can talk to,
Mm.
because as you said, it can be embarrassing.
Yeah.
Are times where, and for leaders, this is very important. So if you're a young person and you're aspiring to leadership, this capacity to work with your emotions skillfully is very, very important.
Mhm.
If you react, let's say you shout at someone in a meeting, how long will someone remember that?
I they're not forgetting it.
Yes, forever.
Yeah.
Right. So you can literally
Mm,
heal your leadership journey with one bad reaction, and
mm,
people will not forget.
mm.
So learning to do this, if you're going to progress in the modern world, is so important. And in that, there are some times that you have to fake it just a little bit in leadership.
I think
If you're in
the
a safe
yeah.
place, sure, you can say, look, I was really upset or angry or disappointed in this, and that's good and it's transparent. But there are times where, you need to restrain yourself.
Well, I think you can't take it back, right? So that's what
Correct.
I always think about when, especially in workplaces, it is you need your trusting relationships where you actually can
Yes.
say how you feel, and you have to
Yeah.
do that in order for them to tell you, and those create amazing, strong bonds. Not everyone in the
Correct.
company needs to know what you're feeling every day.
Yeah. And it's kind of not funny, but one of the most common comments I get in emotional intelligence workshops is, I keep emotion out of it.
Mm, mm,
Now, we know for sure that in any high performing role, somewhere between 66 and 85% of what drives top performance is based on these emotional competencies.
mhm,
Impulse control is a key.
mhm,
How can you keep emotion out of it? Right? It's not wise. Emotions are there,
mhm.
and we need to play them like music.
And they're positive as well. Emotional as a
Yeah.
term is neutral,
Yeah.
even though we use it in a negative way. Like, yes, there are some negative emotions. There are a whole suite of positive ones that
Yeah.
you really want to build if
Yeah.
you're trying to influence
No,
people or
absolutely.
have a good time in life.
And one of the things that people who work in this field have said repeatedly, sometimes you're in a difficult situation and you can feel you're both getting a bit activated and
Mm,
triggered. Best to leave. Go
mm,
sleep on it.
mm,
You need to have a conversation. All right. So you need to name, tame, reframe, but not now,
mm.
because you're too challenged.
Yeah, a well-timed break, calling that.
Absolutely.
When we used to do negotiation trainings, that was sometimes what got us over the line,
Exactly.
It's yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, excellent. So that is impulse control. Huge skill for all of us
Absolutely.
and a work in progress for everyone, I think. I know it is
All
for
of
me.
us, right?
Mm,
Because so you think about that leadership journey that young people are on, as they show that capacity to master their emotions, they're going to get promoted.
mm,
The challenges will get more testing.
Mm.
So
It's like you
as you
grow
get, that's
then.
you're
Yeah.
growing, right? So the world becomes more complex, more
Yeah.
interesting.
Mhm.
You've got to
Mhm.
get better.
Mhm.
It's a non-stop journey.